all over the country. So please let us know. Let me just set there. Perfect. All right. Like I said, welcome to a Team TGIF property tour. So what's a property tour? You know, I've been part of this community for a couple of years now. And when I first started, I didn't know anything about real estate investing. So one of the events I would always attend was a live property tour. I was like, all right, what's a property tour? You know, Debbie and some of the other people that were working on current projects, like, hey, come to our property. You know, we'll do a full walkthrough. We'll explain every single strategy we're doing, run through all the numbers, and just, you know, step by step how we got this property under contract, and, you know, give you better insight as to how we controlled and, you know, what we're doing with this property, what we're gonna make on this deal. It's like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. So I did a lot of those, you know, went to a lot of live property tours, and then the shutdown happened. You know, we went all online, but that's when we, you know, I'm in Atlanta, we teamed up with a lot of our team members out in Florida. We have a lot of online events that guests can attend to. One of those is a property tour, which is today. So without any further ado, let me bring out some of the team members that they're down there right now. They're in the property tour. So they're in Orlando. Let's see, Jacob is going to be helping us with all of that right now.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
There we go.
So we're just so everybody knows, we're running off a hotspot. So please let us know if you know you need us to repeat anything or how the connection is, but we will do our best with this. Yes, hello everybody. We're here in Orlando. I see some familiar faces or names. I would love to see your faces.
Yes.
Jonathan, Roberto, Jackie, Jonathan again. Hello, everybody. I am Jorlin. Yes, hello. I apologize.
Hi guys, how are you?
You want to introduce yourself, Aaron?
Yeah.
Let's hear from Aaron. He's hiding back there.
Aaron, everybody.
So I want to welcome you guys again to the TGIF property tour. So what I'm excited about, let me introduce myself. My name's Jerlyn. These are my beautiful children. Hi. And we're here because we're here to learn pretty much, and I bring them along so that they can learn. Something about myself is when I joined the community, I didn't know exactly what I really truly wanted to get into. All I knew is that real estate was the way to begin. So coming into the community, joining with all of these people, I've been able to learn from their experiences and also have a track record so that we can create a legacy and teach these little guys right here. Just to introduce everyone, obviously, you guys met Jacob and Aaron. Jacob graduated from college in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. He was working in his dream job, but he knew that that job was not going to suffice in paying off his school loans. So something told him as well that real estate was something to look into. He joined Renatus. He was able to connect and make relationships with these investors and was able to start his short sale company with a business partner. From there on, it started taking off. And in 2021, he was able to close 6 deals, fix and flips, short-term rentals. Aaron, on his side, he was joining, I think about 6 years ago, right?
Yeah, 2015.
He joined 6 years ago, and he's been able to do over 20 fix and flips and short-term rentals as well. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and introduce Aaron.
Awesome, thank you. So we got some folks in the room as well. So I'm going to talk to both people. Are you up on your phone for the walkthrough?
Yeah.
Awesome. So we got a lot of folks online. We got about 10 people in the house here. My name is Aaron Holsipple, like Jorlyn said. My business partner Jacob Stoll to my left, and Jason Ekman is floating around here somewhere. And we kicked off a company called we're very, very innovative when it came to our company name, Three Guys LLC. Three Guys Properties LLC was actually kicked off in January of this year, right? This particular property, some of you guys on the line, you'll notice that it was a property that Jacob, Jorlin, and myself actually vetted. What's up, man? Come on in.
Thank you.
Come on in. So we, Jacob, Jorlin, and myself actually vetted this deal back in November. And Jacob and I were kind of looking at each other and like, this thing is winner chicken dinner if we can get it at the right price. And more importantly, if we rent it out properly. Jacob's going to talk more in detail about that. But I'm excited for you guys to be here. I'm excited for the folks that are in the room. And we're going to do a walkthrough. We're going to talk numbers. We're going to talk how we acquired it. We're going to talk about the strategy that we're going to extract a decent amount of capital out of thin air. So if you're interested in making money out of thin air, stay on the line and we'll talk a little bit further on down the road. So without further ado, my partner, Jacob Stoll.
Hello, everybody. So I'm gonna be talking. I have a slide, so if you guys do have questions, don't hesitate to shout them out, or I might get blue. I might reserve it to get back to it at the end, but still don't feel like I'm not engaging. I will try to be as attentive as I can to you guys, but also online as well. So hopefully you guys online heard that as well. We do have a lot of people here, but you can put your questions in the chat and we will get to them at some point. So let me share my screen. All right, hopefully you guys can see this. Yes?
Yeah.
You can see it? Okay, cool.
Get you sharp, Jorlin.
All right, so this is a street view of the property pre-rehab. And then we're gonna take you guys through the condition right now where you like mid rehab. But we're just gonna talk about the acquisition, the numbers real quick. Not gonna spend a lot of time, but just showing you guys the numbers and then we'll go through it. So as Aaron mentioned, we were here back in the end of November looking at this. At the time, it was owned by the bank. So it was an REO. I believe it was listed on the MLS. That's how we found it. And we were doing a evaluation tour versus now this is technically a real deal property tour. We purchased it with hard money, so we were able to get 80% financing towards the purchase cost. The purchase price, excuse me, and then 100% for the renovation costs. That other 20% towards the purchase actually came out of a HELOC. Jason Ekman is one of our partners. He leveraged his home equity line of credit to put the down payment. So we were able to get that. And then the strategy that we are utilizing is the BRRRR strategy. So if you were on this tour, 2 months ago, we did do the evaluation as a flip and also as a rental, and then extracting, capital out of it. Either one, honestly, would have worked, but there is a lot of equity in this property, which we're about to go through, which is why we have decided to hold on to it. So here are the numbers. The buy, we bought it for $85,100. We have a renovation budget of $36,000. So that is paid for by our hard money lender. They're funding 100%, and then they did 80% of the $85,000. after it's fixed up, and before we actually can go to our lender and refinance, we have to put renters in place. We have to be generating some sort of positive income. Once we, show them we have, leases in place, tenants, we have our first month's check, then they will start the refinance process. So traditional, in this area, if we were going to do a traditional rental, we could rent this for about $13.50 a month. As real estate investors, we are problem solvers. We also want to extract the most amount of capital, out of every deal, every situation we can. So we were brainstorming, Aaron, Jason, and I, and we decided that we could rent the rooms out individually. And in this area, we can rent them for about $650 to $750, I would say, is kind of pushing it. We're shooting for $700. There are 3 rooms, so it is a 3-1. It's about 1,000 square foot.
865 actually.
865, okay. It is, it's nice though. It is nice. So we anticipate, about $2,000 a month. And then once, excuse me, as I said, once we get the renters in place, we will be doing a cash out refinance strategy. I looked at comparables last night actually, and we were initially thinking about 180,000 after it's all said and done, fixed up. I looked last night and it said 195, so up 15. I ran these numbers, however, off of being a little conservative. They're off of 190, so 80% LTV. So what is that? So for those that don't know what a refinance is, you're basically restructuring your loan. So we have a short-term fix and flip loan right now. Our lender is funding the rehab, and it's short-term. So typically, short-term loans from hard money lenders are anywhere from 6 to 12 months. Obviously, we're holding this. The plan is forever. So we have to get into a different loan program. So we do a refinance, just restructures it into like a 30-year loan at a fixed interest rate. And then we can extract the cash out of the property. It's based off an appraisal. So like I said, once we get the rent in place, our lender will send an appraiser out here to look at, do their own market analysis, and they take that and give it back to our lender. They will do up to 80% loan to value. So we're hoping the appraisal comes in, 190 would be ideal. So at 190, 80%, that's $152,000 that we could cash out essentially. And then you would just repeat.
And our all-in number was 105.
Yep, that's the next slide.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. But I wanted to talk about the short-term loan versus coming at it from a long-term loan as well. The reason why we did the short-term hard money loan is because they paid for the rehab, right? So we don't have to come out of pocket for the rehab money. So we turn a short-term loan, and then once we put it into place, that's when we can turn it into the long-term stuff. But we're not out the $36,000. We're not out of pocket that. So the lender actually pays for it. So that was one of the reasons why we went short-term. And so we have a class. We have a class in our curriculum, and it's called Vetting Hard Money and Private Lenders, right? So you have to ask questions about lending for sure, because some lenders will not convert that loan from short-term to long-term. And then you're like, oh man, now I got to go find this money to pay off this loan in 6 to 12 months. So just be, just be mindful of what we're doing here as far as, the curriculum that we do offer and what it can do for you as a real estate investor. And like Jacob was saying, as an investor, we are looking to maximize our opportunities. This area, really, we did evaluate it initially as a flip, but this area is not really primed for granite countertops, right? And, luxury flooring, it's just not. So we are taking the product that we have and you gotta be like Batman, right? I mean, that's just the bottom line. Did you guys, Batman is the only superhero that does not have any superpower, right? Granted, he's a handsome billionaire, right? And he's got lots of toys, but the cool thing is that he uses the tools that he has. Versus, so what we, as real estate investors, we have to be able to say, okay, this isn't going to work, but this and this will, right? And you have to have the resources, whether it's capital, knowledge, relationships, whatever, you got to have those resources to say, and we have a question in the room, but you have to have those resources available to you to make the best decision to maximize the opportunity. Question, Jim?
Yeah, do lenders typically pay for rehab, or is that something you work with them?
Hard money will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you repeat the question?
Oh, I'm sorry. The question in the room was, do lenders typically pay for the rehab? And hard money ones will. And the reason why they want to pay for the rehab is because they want to control the amount of money that's coming into the project. So our rehab budget was 36, right? So Jacob has the relationship with the HML, and he calls on to the HML's hard money lender, and he says, okay, we need a draw. So our initial draw was what, $8,200, right? So Jason, who is bringing capital to this project, gives the contractor $8,200. He can start his work, but we have to submit line items to the lender saying, okay, X, Y, and Z is done. We need a reimbursement. So then we get a reimbursement of $9,500.
Yeah.
And then so goes the program. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be able to start the work. They don't, it's like a hold back.
Right.
They don't give you all that chunk, like here's the money for the rehab.
Yeah.
They give you the purchase, closing.
Yeah.
Thus they're
Hopefully we
control.
see
Yeah.
this in 3 months.
Yeah.
Right,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, great question. Any other questions? One
So
more?
does that mean you had permits and everything like that in place at the city, everything approved before you can get the hard money loan, right?
Not necessarily, but you would, with this particular project, because we only had to replace one window, the only, and the question was on permitting, getting a permit in place prior to starting the work. And the answer is no. The only permit we're gonna have to pull for this project is the roof. Right, and we don't even pull that, the roofer will pull that, yeah.
We do have to present our hard money lender with a line
Yeah.
item
Right.
rehab estimate. So it's not like, we say we're doing one thing and
Right,
doing
and that's where
doing
this
something
guy
else.
comes in, right? So because I partner up with people who have strengths that I don't, right? I'm not the guy who can sit there and look at a spreadsheet. This would be me. Right? And then my wife would be like, what are you doing? I'm like, huh? What? It's just not me, right? But I am very good at building relationships. That's my role. That's what I do. So anyway, so we're gonna continue with the process. If you have questions, just don't hesitate online in the room. Please bring.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yes,
I came in a little bit later. So who are you?
my name's Aaron.
Aaron, and you do what?
I fix and flip houses. I do buy and holds. I do real estate.
Jacob.
Same
Same thing, investor,
Jason,
full time.
same thing.
Oh,
Money.
Okay. Hi,
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah.
Very good.
Who
Thank you.
invited you?
My husband.
George Lee. Oh, awesome. Yeah, awesome. So, yeah, so if you guys decide to move forward, we'll be working together.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, continuing on. So our all in, that's purchase, renovations, and I added about $5,000 for holding costs because we should be in the next month, or I would say month, we should be having renters in here. So our holding costs are minimal as opposed to, you know, holding a flip for 3, 4, 5 months, you know. So all in, we're at rounded 125. The cash out at the 190, like I mentioned before, would be 80%, 152. And we actually have to pay, I didn't put it on here, should have. We have to pay back our original loan and then reimburse, you know, Jason's HELOC. So after that's all said and done, we should still have about $15,000 cash that's tax deferred and
Woo!
back into our pocket, essentially.
Love it.
So taking, excuse me, geez. Taking,
Well, let's
Yeah.
talk about that. right?
okay,
Let's talk about that. So I'm sure everybody in the room understands we sell education, right? That's what we do. But we not only do we sell education, but we put this stuff into practice. So let's say I want to, you know, let's say anybody in the room wants to buy our very top package, which is 23 grand, right? All in lifetime, you get everything forever. If we do one more of these deals, which we are anticipating doing 5 this year in 2022, if we do just one more of these deals and we extract another 15 grand out of it, did we make our money back? So then it's just like, it's free from that point on, right? That's what we're trying to convey. That's it, is that, you know, we were taught something and we're taking action. We were taught something and we're taking action. It's not rocket science. I am not a smart human being. That's why I got the lifetime package, because I'm a slow learner. You're laughing. It's the truth. I mean, it's the God's honest truth, because I know how I learn, and I don't learn very fast. So it was repetition for me. But you think about just doing it one time, or doing this twice in 1 year, money's back, and now it's free, right? But we intend on doing it at least 4 more times at a minimum. That's not including the flips that we plan, right, Jason?
Well, that, and tell them how we're gonna use this house.
So this house is literally going to be our bank. It's going to be our bank.
So in 18 months, we
Yeah.
can take out a HELOC on this, because we already have 80%
Right.
LTV, we already have 20% equity, plus another 18 months, we'll
Right.
probably be close to 30.
Right.
We can take out a HELOC on this about 40, 50,000,
Right.
and then go out and do
The same thing.
the
The same exact thing.
and use my HELOC and this HELOC, and then it's just, you know, you're going from here to here to here.
Yeah.
How did you bypass real estate agents? How did you
That's
do-
the easiest
don't.
thing to do. Well, Jason's a broker.
Oh, you are.
So
Okay.
so Jason is a
That gets
broker,
paid.
right? Yeah. The one thing that you guys will know from the rip, if you hang out with us long enough, we are not a non-for-profit, right? We are here to provide for our families. Fact. And the education piece is merely the icing on our cake. We're here because we want to do more real estate. You saw that sign on the ground because I want to do real estate with you. We had a conversation at church because I want to do real estate with you. I don't know how you guys got it, but we want to do real estate with you, right? We want to do real estate with you. That's why. The fact is that we are, you know, we are expanding and we need resources. And guys, let me be very clear. Folks online, let me be extremely clear. When I say we want more resources, we're not talking about money, right? We have that circle. That circle is taken care of. We need more resources because you know people that I don't know. I know people that you don't know, and we can help each other, all right? It's a very symbiotic relationship, okay? I'm gonna jump off my soapbox.
hey, no, you're doing great. I can share a little, add a little to that.
Sure, please.
after, but
Yeah,
well, I'll do-
whatever.
yeah, I'll get back to
This
it.
is your show, man. I'm just here.
Well, let's get through the numbers first, and then $15,000, awesome. So the rental income averaging, let's say $2,000 a month. Our PITI, so principal, interest, mortgage payment, taxes, and insurance. Those are our expenses. About $11.50 a month. So therefore, we anticipate to be cash flowing about $800 plus a month from this property, on top of the 15,000, and then on top of, like Jason was saying, if you might not have heard him, but we can take a HELOC out on this property in another 18 months after we refinance. We already have equity in the deal, and we can just repeat. So pretty great numbers there. All right, so yeah, what I was gonna share is, you said a lot of things that triggered me, so I don't know exactly what I was gonna segue off of, but the whole fact of, oh, you said education. So when I got started, like Jorlin said, college graduate. I knew nothing about real estate, knew nothing about sales, marketing, money, finances, like literally 19 years old. I went to school for audio engineering, completely not even related to financing or anything. And I, like Jorlin said, realized about a year into my career that, I had accumulated $80,000 worth of student debt, and
Full sale?
yes, sir. Which it was great, honestly. I mean, I did learn, but I learned more after school. But I just didn't see the exit. I got my dream job, and quickly I was like, what am I doing? I didn't see the out. So how am I going to pay this $80,000 back? So I somehow, looked at real estate, just had, this is where I needed to be. Like Jordan said, same thing for her. Just kind of had that knowledge to be like, millionaires, they invest in, 90% of them have assets, they have real estate. So I need to make that shift, and got started with the education. And it took me, it did take me a little longer, I would say. Because of my age, there was a lot of things that I personally had to overcome with myself and just the environment I was around, and it's more of the mindset. And I did a lot of studying, took a lot of the education, but then, you have to evaluate yourself. You have to, self-reflect, and it's like, why am I not getting the results that I'm not, that I want? And it was because simply I wasn't putting offers out there. And, then you start putting offers out, and then you start getting responses, and then you get the yes. Now, now you're freaking out, right? So there is I think the biggest step for me is, and now I don't really care about it, but it's stepping into that fear. That is the biggest obstacle that I think anybody is going to face. Yourself. We psych ourselves out. You think you can't do something, but I am no different than any of you. You guys, some of you in here, all of you in here, probably definitely know something that I don't, and vice versa. So realizing that, and then once you make that first step, it's so much easier after, because you've done it before. So
I think what you're talking about is great. The only problem I'm trying to have transitioning to that is
sure.
I already own a house. I have a $2,500 mortgage. It's 4,000 square feet. Love it. But I want to, dive into this, and it's kind of hard to think about how I'll be able to make an offer on another property when I already have a mortgage, and, kind of traverse those types of things. So the fear is real.
Yeah, for sure, 100%, 100%. And the fear was real with me, as it was with her and him and Jason and whoever else, and Gabriel, right? The fear is for real, but fear is a liar. Those are the facts. Fear is a liar. So if we buy into it, 100%, we're gonna get stuck in that, should I not?
Can-
I remember, somebody asking me one time, and it probably once a week it happens, what if it doesn't work? What if it does,
Yeah.
right? But beyond what if, what we're trying to do is just what Jake was saying, is shifting that mindset, right? From, that's awesome that you have a nice house that you and Katie love and want to retire in, probably. But we need to get your mind to think a little bit different, because I'm in the same exact boat. Christine and I just bought a house last year, $350,000. But yet I'm still doing real estate because I'm transactionally, I'm doing things that are not in the mainstream. Who has student loan debt? Just raise your hand if you do. Who has a house or a car note? Anybody? Okay, so everybody in the room has something. So just with the essentials curriculum, just this one curriculum teaches you how to pay off all of your amortized debt in a fraction of the time with no additional money out of your pocket. Paying off your $425,000 house in 7 to 10 years. Literally paying off your car and your student loans in a fraction of the time with no additional money in your pocket. The banks, the government, and the corporations are not our friends. We all know this. They're not. It's not by, it is not by a surprise that if you go to downtown, wherever you live, and you look at the downtown, that the tallest buildings are always banks, right? We just opened up an account last week at Truist, talking about this and that, how awesome it is. I'm driving on the 408, I look over, the second tallest building is Truist. And it's brand new to us, right? To the SunTrust and BB&T folks. But the point is just transitioning your mind and looking at, like, the velocity banking class, guys, I took that class 3 times. I took it 3 times before it really sunk in. And I said to myself, man, this is for real. I can actually do this. And we're not talking about ramen or rice and beans diet. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about changing your lifestyle at all. But we're talking about you paying off your debt. I mean, if you look at a home loan, and folks online, I want you to listen to this. You think about, okay, so you just bought your house, right, David? Yes, sir. All right, so what's your interest rate?
Interest, we got 3%.
3%, great rate. Everybody would agree, 3% is a great rate. But when you look at your truth in lending statement, and you look at what you're paying in interest, in the very first 5 years of that loan, it's not 3%, it's more like 72%. It's disgusting, right? And that's why amortized debt is evil. We teach you how to pay that off, right? And I say it with passion because it's true. It is the absolute truth. But let me ask you a question. You own your house. How long you own your house?
5 years.
And have you got a little letter in the mail from the bank?
Oh, I refinanced it to my debt.
Right.
To get it to a lower interest
Okay.
rate. But now I'm back in that
Right,
amortization.
you're right
now.
there, right? Yes.
Yeah.
So what happens is that after about 5 years, you get that nice little letter from the bank. And it says, hey, refinance your loan and we'll save you $300 on your payment. We'll lower your interest rate. But what it does is that takes you right back to the beginning. So now the average American in America has a 54-year mortgage loan. I don't know if you all know that. Most Americans die with a mortgage because of the refi. Now, we were speaking in the back about, what did I say to you? Normally, I would not talk about refinancing, but when we're going to do a cash out refinance, we got 3 people paying the mortgage. It's good business, right? It's
And you have
a
a positive
business,
cash flow.
and you have positive cash flow of about, well, $850 to $1,100. Okay? So just think about that. Any questions? Any questions online? We're gonna. What are we doing now? We're talking 4 currencies.
Aaron, I have one on the refi. You said you can't get the refinance until it's rented.
Yeah. So we have to
One
prove.
renter, all
No,
3, or
well, it has to be bringing in money.
they're gonna sign leases or
Enough,
something like
but
that.
we're doing a 30-day. We're doing a month, right? So when we feel it's the best opportunity for us, if we're going to rent out, if we were going to rent out the house to a family,
Mhm.
we would do a traditional 1-2 year lease.
Okay.
but we're not. So people have different personalities, they think differently, they do things differently. So we rent out each individual room. If there's a problem where somebody just can't get along with somebody, then we can make that decision quickly to say one of y'all, if not both of them, right? So.
You guys already have the lender in play for the refinance?
It's gonna be the same
people?
people, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so, and then so when you transition, and Jacob certainly would know more about this than I, but when you transition from a short-term loan to a typical long-term product is 30-year fixed, amortized, but you gotta get out of it within like 3 to 4 years, isn't that they want you out of it, right?
That's a long-term loan?
Yeah,
So you gotta refinance
yeah,
again?
so you would have to refinance probably through something traditionally.
Got it.
But after 3 years of a cash flowing asset, 3 guys with our credit, with the company being in place for as long as it will be at that time, will be established where we can turn it into more of a traditional loan. And but then do the HELOC. Literally the same. It's fantastic. Okay, sorry.
You're
I'm in
good.
my jam, man. I mean, this is how I roll.
And then remind me your name.
Jim.
Jim. So to your comment, Jim, also about already having a home, you can get up to 10 mortgages in your name.
Yeah.
So if you can apply for another mortgage,
Yeah.
it
As long as you
is-
can afford it.
Yeah, and obviously it's gonna, they're gonna check the credit every time, but that is.
That's
an
true.
option.
Yeah, that's very true. But what we're also leaning towards is to get you away from the traditional financing program, right? I was speaking to Ronald yesterday. We were talking about our circles, right? And what each circle brings to the scenario. And when we said, hey, we want to do more real estate, it comes down to if you find a property, and this goes for anybody in the room, you find a property, you have buyers right here, right? So you don't have to worry about that. What if they say yes? Because that's scary. You're like, oh my gosh, what do I, now they said yes, what do I do, right? Well, then you come to Aaron or Jacob or Jason and say, hey, I've got this property, can you look at it? And we'll be more than happy to evaluate the property. And then if it's a viable contract, we'll buy it and we'll pay you an assignment. Right?
And don't feel tied down just because they said yes. You haven't signed it.
Right, you have not signed anything, right? So.
I want yeses all day, and I'll go back and be like, well,
I like your yes.
I like it, but we need to drop this price $10,000.
I like your yes, and I appreciate that, but I don't like it for this number. Because of this, we did an evaluation. We looked at your property. It needs X amount of dollars, whatever the scenario is, but you get that. And once you get it under contract, then you can bring it. And your contract can have contingencies as well, just so you know, right? So, a one that I used to use a lot when I was new is I would say contingent to business partners approval. I'm the business partner. I'm the guy. So I can reevaluate the deal, and if it's no good, it's no good. And if it's no good, then walk away. And that's the best deal you'll ever do, my friends, is the one that you're educated enough to run away from. That will be the absolute best deal. So we're talking, so we're gonna do a walkthrough now, or?
Yeah, we can do a walkthrough, and then we'll come back to this, I guess.
You got walkthrough duties there? Your land?
Sorry.
I'm sorry, can I ask a question?
You can ask as many questions as you want.
I'm sorry for coming late.
It's okay. You're
but
here, and I
This
appreciate
is
that.
all very interesting. I just wanted to know, are you guys looking for like off-market deals that we're like door knocking?
No.
$100 that we bring to you?
No. So we are not here. We are not here to recruit bird dogs. That's not the reason why we're here. We have an educational platform that we sell, right? And we also have it ourselves, and we are taking action in doing so. So to grow the community with resources, we will do one of these tours a month.
Okay.
So no, now if you find a deal, if you want to go out and bang on doors, like so, Debbie Worthington is coming down to Orlando next week, and we're going to go out and knock on some doors. I'm not opposed to that. I spend the majority of my time in the field looking for property. I mean, that black truck is mine. I've had it since July and it's got almost 20,000 miles.
Nice. What's the educational platform? I just want to
It's
stay.
a, it's a company called Renatus. Who invited you?
I think Geo.
Jordan.
Jorlyn. Okay,
Yeah.
so Jorlyn will get back in contact with you
Okay,
and
yeah, I
get
just
you
want to
set
be
up.
able to
Yep,
get contact
absolutely.
information so I can pursue. this.
Absolutely. So, and we have you, right? Yeah, so we got you right now.
Yeah.
And I always like to say, it is an education company, but we're not in the business to sell education. We're here to do real estate.
Yeah, it's for sale, and if you decide to get it, then Jorlyn will get a check. It's really what it comes down to. But we are here because we want to do more real estate. That's it. Right? Those are just the facts, because the platform is merely icing on the cake. The cake, the meat and potatoes is what we're doing, because I'm never gonna get wealthy pimping that education. Those are just the facts. I am gonna get wealthy by, so, before we do the walkthrough, I asked if I ask 100 people, when you retire, no, I'm just gonna ask the room. When you retire, Carlos, how much money do you want per month after taxes?
At least 20,000.
Okay, how about you? Don't take his number, just what is your number? 10,000? What's your number? Okay, Dominic?
30.
Okay,
100K.
yeah, 100K. If I ask 100 people that question, the answer is 10,000. Fact.
Yeah, usually average.
The average is 10. People say I want 10 grand a month for me to be able to retire. For you to retire on $10,000 a month, meaning that you're going to live from 65 for 25 years, so 65 to what is that? 90. You would need $3.4 million in the bank.
Not the bank.
Or wherever, right? Wherever your savings is. Hopefully it's not your CD at 0.02% and inflation's at 7. So thanks, remember November. So with that being said, $3.4 million. Is it easier for me to save $3.4 million, or is it easier for me to own 10 cash flowing rentals? Of course, right? This is the stuff that they teach us in school. They'll teach us to get good grades, so you can get a good job, and then you stay in that hamster wheel of life, right? The rat race. There was a meme. I put it on Facebook that this mouse or hamster is like running on this wheel, and then it gets popped off because the wheel's moving so fast, right? And that's the thing, and we get caught up on that wheel of life. What we teach you is to get off that wheel and to become wealthy, because this is America. Anybody can do it.
And to add on that real quick, that's why I bring them,
Absolutely.
because they're gonna be taught how to find a job.
She's talking about her babies, by the way.
Sorry, guys. So my kids are gonna be taught how to find a job, how to get a good education. They're gonna be educated, they're gonna know the basics. But these little ones right here, that's why I bring them along. That's why me and my husband talk to them about real estate, even though they're probably exhausted about hearing it because they're kids. But we tell them, there you go. She's like, yeah. We tell them that there's a different life than what we were raised with. And this right here, just with, like he said, just with the basic essentials package, I didn't learn that in high school. I didn't learn that in college. I have a bachelor's degree. I didn't know any of that. And that right there with the essentials package, that's gonna help me to provide better knowledge for them for when they start their credit, for when they start their businesses, because that's what we're trying to drive for, that their businesses will fund their lifestyle, not their jobs.
Bang, I like that action. All right, so with that being said, we're gonna do a walkthrough. Would you like to host that walkthrough there, Jacob Stoley?
Yes, Jorlyn, are you on?
Yeah, I got a call.
So we're gonna do a walkthrough
a
with Zoom.
different-
You guys can just have.
Yeah, I
that
can,
walk
like,
around the
pin
house,
your
Go check out the
phone. Are you-
rooms.
You're on video?
Just so you know, for
I
the
can't
folks
see
in the
it.
room, we
I
have
haven't
replaced
turned it on yet.
obviously about 90% of the subflooring. You're gonna see a lot of the framing had to be replaced. We found
Got it,
yesterday
okay.
that we
Pin
have termites
spotlight.
on this side.
Oh.
So but they pulled that out, reframed it, and then that out.
There you go. All right. Yes, you're good. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Here, disgusting. You're.
No, you can go. You can go.
And then
You're gonna follow? Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry, let me just get.
This is all water now. And some of it was elements, some of it was termites. I'm not a contractor, so the guy sends me pictures and I deal with it. And then so it's actually cheaper for us to frame that in inside. Versus going and finding, it's a specialty, special size of window. And plus we would have to special order it, and so it's just gonna be easier for us to, easier and cheaper for us to get that, just frame that in. It needs to be replaced. Yeah, so it's gonna be a replace. What was I gonna say? No, that's okay, man. It happens. Yeah, so, the roof is old. We weren't going to just do a, resurface it, recover, because you can do up to three levels. But we figured long term, it's just easier to do it now, because the, rip and replace versus a recover, it's a little bit cheaper to do the, replace, but long term, it's just. So the nicest room in the house is actually.
Excuse me, sorry.
This is, so essentially, what we're gonna do here, we're gonna turn this, because you see the.
It was like this.
It was, yeah. It was actually, it was like this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set the stuff out there. Those are used. So the contractor went into one of his rehabs and yanked the stuff out. So to make it cost, we're like, okay, now if it was a fix and flip, clearly we could put all brand new stuff in here. But this area here is literally, we can make this look brand new for $500. Okay? So what we're gonna do is replace the hardware, and then we're gonna have the epoxy guy come in and make it pure. It's gonna be beautiful, shiny white, right? So it's gonna look brand new, and then we'll just replace the hardware with something, the mixer, the nozzle, and that stuff. But this literally would be about a $600 bathroom. So we're gonna run the same product. It's the same. It's gonna be LVP, which is luxury vinyl, right? We're gonna run through the entire house, bathroom, kitchen, all the rooms. We use that product because carpet will rip out, right? We could have gone tile, but we chose not to because you would eventually have to reroute, remud, stuff like that. And then with the luxury vinyl, when it wears out, which it will in 10, 12 years, we'll just replace it.
Is it easy to?
Yeah, it's just a step down. We're gonna replace the door and water heater. We replaced the doors yesterday. And because of the type of rental that we're gonna do, we're gonna do digital lock doors. So the renter, their code will be the same code for the front door as their room.
Yeah.
So that way, but we're gonna do it where it's gonna be wireless, so if we have to extract somebody, we'll be able to lock the door until we can manage the situation.
So what if you have someone other than one of these?
You have it's easier to evict than
Okay.
So let's go outside, take a look. With the electricity, is that was not in our name. for about the first 6 weeks, and it was awesome. Right up until about 2 days ago when they cut it off. So the power is actually going to be back on.
When it's hot for you.
I know. So there's no air conditioning. There's no air in here. There's no air or heat. So we're gonna do window heating and air units in the main room and the 3 bedrooms.
Okay.
Yeah. So that way we don't have to incur the cost of $3,500 for new AC. We had to we did replace this into the rails. Like this product, it's just huge. It's just ragged out. All of the what's that stuff called? Insulation. That crazy stuff called insulation. All of that was pretty, it was just gone because the age of the house, with the elements. But you can see, they don't teach you this stuff on HTT. Whatever show that is, but you can see the new siding.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like a medium to light gray with white trim. Gonna have to replace all of the fascia and the soffit along with the roof, of course. What we're not doing. Yeah, they'll take those. So when the roof comes out, we'll take all that stuff. Because what we're doing with our model is we're gonna furnish. So we're going to house everything, right? So one of my Airbnbs, we have it through Arbitrage. Are you with me here? So what we're doing is 3 guys is actually buying all of that stuff from that Airbnb. So we're just going to put it here, and then we'll have to buy a couple more beds and stuff like that. But what we're doing is that we're going to provide everything except for TVs. No entertainment. Beer bottle goes through a 55-inch TV. Who done it type deal, right? So we're just not going to put a TV in. Although I will have a couple of you can see the new siding. It's gonna look nice. We're gonna replace this. You can see that this was the width of the steps. We're probably gonna go up to about here. On both sides, and not worry about that height. We are, so my thought is I would prefer to rent to women versus dudes, but it is what it is. Women only because they're cleaner by most standards, and we don't want our house getting tore up. But what we are going to do, what we wanted to do initially was to make the door come outward for security reasons. Whether it's men or women who live here, it doesn't matter. But we couldn't. Well, we could, but it would cost more, and it's just not worth it. So what we are going to do is we're going to put security doors on the outside that do come outward, so there's not going to be any kick-ins. So just trying to think outside the box. Now, like I said, we are looking to rent primarily to women, but if 10 dudes show up and we're going to pick the best 3. So I am not
What was the out?
for security, because it's easier to kick a door in. You can't if a door comes outward, you'd have to crowbar, right? And of course, in a crazy situation like that, it would give the person at least an opportunity to protect.
Yeah, because if somebody kicks the door in, it'll hit you.
It's like
I never.
So as you see, that's the window, and this is in good shape, right? Compared to what all of this was here. You see, we had to replace. So we not only did we replace the siding, but we had to replace the frame as well.
You said that window's gonna be blocked off of there?
Yeah, we're gonna frame it and just cover it up because it's a specialty size. So we would prefer to just do that. And everything that you see here is all new. If it's a different color. And all of that. So there was a decent amount of framing that we had to knock out. But our goal is to provide safe, clean, affordable housing.
And if it's got infestation, whether it be termites, you know, or whatever, it's just, you know, we're looking to provide value. Look, so I'm, nope, I don't know. I don't know the answer. Are you going to fence anything in, or are you going to leave it open? I don't know. I don't think we're going to fence it. This gentleman here, these folks are they're all. So there's a relative, he owns this house, and I honestly I don't know what happened to him because it's bankrupt when we right there. So, but they know for sure how big the lot is. 100%. The one gentleman who was here is, I mean, he went here probably his whole, I don't know, I don't want to speak for him. A long enough time where he knows where the lot lines are, you know. So, and then of course, you know, just, you know, anytime that you guys have a dumpster, you always just be prepared to take on the neighborhood.
Sure.
Because this is about it's completely full and about happy with that.
With it being bank owned, how long was it on the bank record?
So I don't know, but are you familiar with that? How that deal happened? Okay.
Yeah.
So essentially, the bank will hold on to the asset as long as it absolutely can. They don't want to foreclose first and foremost, just because it's a non-performing asset. But what happens is that, and Jason is an expert at this. He's actually a short sales specialist.
Oh, okay.
So he's dealt with the bank for years and years and years. But the reality is that they will only kick it off their books when they can't use it as leverage. So ultimately, what happens with the bank is that I mean, it's genius. It's evil genius, but it's genius nonetheless. But what happens is that the bank will hold the asset, and then they say, okay, it's performing, right? So it's $1,000 a month. And then they go to the Fed and they go to the Federal Reserve and they say, hey, we've got all of these assets. They're performing, you know, they're performing the way that they should. We need to borrow money against the assets, right? And then so the Fed says, okay, you know, so we'll, you know, if you have $100,000 in the bank, we can loan you up to $1 million. It's 10 times, right? And it's the same way with your savings account or your checking account. If you've got $3,000 in your checking account, they can loan or borrow up to $30,000. When you go and get a loan, right, to get your car loan, and they charge you 5% or 6%, whatever the number is, they're basically borrowing. You're borrowing your own money at a higher interest rate. It's genius. Evil, genius nonetheless. Yeah. So what they'll do is that they'll keep it until they can't borrow against that asset any longer, and then they offer it. Yeah. That's how it goes. So I think this is a great idea too. Porta John in the dumpster. That's the house, guys. This is 1091 Merritt. So let's come on in and wrap this thing up.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, so, especially for guys like.
Will you start the rental?
Right?
Jacqueline, we've already started the rental.
You can literally.
It just doesn't look pretty yet.
Okay. It comes with the standard. IRS. Okay. So if you get the, just if you get 125.
Are there any online questions while everybody here makes their way back in?
The basics of IRS are all.
So yes, as I was saying as well, Jacqueline, to your question, we had to replace the subflooring. So the whole plywood that's on the floor, we replaced. The electrical has been done. The light fixtures are done. We're doing some reframing work, and then next week we probably should be starting drywall and paint. Finishing up that, then we'll get the floors, and then all the pretty stuff, you know, doors, trim, kitchen appliances. We already have some cabinets, and we have a sink in here already, so ready to go. And then the last thing we're gonna have to do is the roof. We do need to replace the roof. So we're gonna do that after, just because to get permits approved by the city, then inspected. But hopefully by the end of the month, 2 to 3 weeks, so beginning of March, we should be done.
Okay, guys, we are going to, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up. Any questions, outstanding questions that we have prior to us breaking?
Just a question, where's the kitchen at?
Right here.
Sorry.
You're in it, it's a combo room. Any questions online that we need to answer?
I don't see any. I just asked if anyone had any other questions.
Okay,
You want to ask a question?
you got a question?
What's the
Like,
question?
How can you burr this bad boy?
Brrr.
All right. So the question always comes down, you know, I always open with this question. I like to anyway, if I remember. And I always like to close with it. I don't know what you're looking for, but I know that every human being in this room is looking for something, because you're here. That's it, right? If we're the answer, which I believe we are, then awesome. I look forward to working with you. If we are not what you're looking for, that's awesome too. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck. There's 4 currencies in life, guys. There's money and time. Everybody knows about that. And that's where the majority of Americans hang out. We hang out in money and time bill, because we go to work, we trade our time for money. The other 2 currencies are knowledge and relationships. And that's where I like to hang. Okay. I'm not the most knowledgeable guy on the planet. Jason knows way more about short sales than I'll ever know. So if you need a short sale, that's your man. This guy knows more about finding deals than I will ever. That's just how it works. Okay. Jorlyn is teaching her kids how to become entrepreneurs versus slaves to the system. Okay. So if we're what you're looking for, are we closing, right? Is this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, so we're a little bit past time, and I want to be respectful of everyone's time. If who's not seen anything, who's not been to an introduction? Team intro.
What is that?
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect.
sounds
Okay, no, that's great.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So what Jorlyn is gonna, if you are our guest, Jorlyn's gonna get with you and find out where you can go into the next step, whether it's an intro, a follow-up, velocity banking, whatever the deal is. We have a live introduction. If you guys are gonna be in Orlando, we have a live intro Wednesday at 7 p.m. at my office off Alafaya. So I would encourage you guys to come. We're going to talk about the platform. We're going to talk about how you can get started. We're going to talk about where you fit in, right, in our group. And remember that, real estate, we like to use the acronym of IDEA for real estate, okay? Because you can make income, right? You have depreciation against your taxes. Of course, equity, that's where the wealth is. You have appreciation, and then of course you can leverage it, like we talked about with HELOC. So think about real estate versus the markets. Think about real estate versus crypto. Think about real estate versus any other investment that you can get involved in. We had instant equity the moment that we signed our pen, the pen paper, okay? And that's what we're teaching. That we're teaching you how to do that. Become an equitable partner in real estate, because that's where the wealth is.
Talk about nationals.
Yeah, so nationals right around the corner. So we have an event every year. The last 3 years has been virtual, obviously because of COVID. So we have an income portion in our company. or in our group per se. And like we talked about, if you decide to move forward, she gets paid. It's just that simple. So we don't advertise. We don't do the hotel pitch fest, right? Like the guys do, the other companies, that's what they do. That's how they sell their product. That's fine. That's their business model. It's just not ours. What Bob Snyder, who is the founder, owner, and CEO of Fornas, has done is that he says, I want my students to be products of the product. And when they're successful, if they invite somebody to a meeting, somebody likes what they see, they decide to move forward, we'll pay them. There's no pitch. It's just reality. It's just, hey, this is what I'm doing, right? So, but anyway, with that being said, we have our national convention, which is in late next month, the 30th to the 2nd of April. We literally, about 12 to 1,500 of us will converge on a little town in Layton, Utah, right? It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna get some killer training for 3 days. Anybody who pays, for me, and I would say this, with Jorlin here, anybody that decides to move forward with us and you're on my team and you do a one-time pay, meaning don't use the billing, AIT or better, I will pay for your ticket to go to nationals. Okay? It was life-changing. Now, the one thing about nationals is this. I'm going there to raise $2 million. That's why I'm going. Because there's $2 million out there for me to go get, right? Within the community. Remember we talked about the circle, right? So that's what I'm going out there for, that one reason. Yes, it's going to be awesome. The training is going to be great. It's going to be fantastic team building, but I'm going out there to raise $2 million. So I'd like for you guys to join me, right? Did I miss anything else?
Hit the nail on
Debbie,
the head.
did I miss anything? Debbie?
She was on a call. I don't know.
All right, one more thing. We're gonna close it up. Go ahead, Jordan.
To change your mindset and to change your life, if you really want to do something different with your life, like Jim was saying, he wants to get into real estate. He wants to, but that, he doesn't know exactly the route to do that. That's the fear of the unknown. And the only way that you're going to do something different with your life is to take a different action. And that's something that I had to struggle with and overcome, because my fear is not being able to provide for them. And I have one more daughter. So I have 4 children. Me and my husband, we work, but we decided to take a different step, to learn and to take action against our fear. So
Awesome. Well, with that being said, I appreciate every single one of you. Believe it or not, we don't know each other, but I do appreciate you. I know that you could have been doing a bunch of other things. There's a ton of people online. I appreciate y'all as well. We are going to hang around and answer any questions that you guys have. If you do, whatever questions you have, don't be afraid to ask them. But we are officially shutting this thing down. And like I said, we'll hang around so if you have questions. If you have questions online, are there?
No, I'll be online.
All right, so Jacob's going to be online for a few minutes,
minute
and then we're going to shut it down here. So I appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you so much.